In this video we are going to talk all about Abraham Lake, Canada. So before starting this video, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for future updates. If you enjoy photographing odd images while traveling, Lake Abraham in Alberta, Canada, is a must-see. Its frozen landscape is a winter delight for any discerning photographer, offering unusual views of magnificent snowscapes and even more incredible frozen bubbles. Don't allow the area's isolation deter you from visiting. Yes, it's in the Canadian Rockies, but getting there isn't quite as difficult as it appears. You also don't need a lot of pricey equipment to get a fantastic shot. What you'll need to know is how to take images securely, where to go for fantastic shots, and maybe a few pointers on how to photograph the frozen air bubbles in Lake Abraham. If the prospect of sleeping out in the open in all that snow makes you tremble, don't. While Lake Abraham is in the Canadian wilderness, you won't have to camp because there are plenty of fantastic places to stay. Continue reading to learn more, and even if you've never considered photography ice bubbles before, you'll be packing your luggage with snowshoes by the time you've finished. What is the best way to get to Lake Abraham? If you're traveling into Canada, Edmonton or Calgary are the closest airports to Lake Abraham. It takes around 3.5 hours to drive up into the lower Rockies from either location. To get to Lake Abraham, there is only one road in and one road out. You'll be driving on the David Thompson Highway no matter which portion of the lake you're visiting. Because it's very remote, make sure your vehicle is roadworthy, that you have backup food supplies in case you break down, and that you fill up at the last gas station, which is in Nordegg. If the worst happens and your vehicle fails, you may be left without a phone signal, so don't get out of your automobile. Keep going until the cops arrive, and sip hot coffee from the extra-large thermos you stashed in the back seat just in case. When is the best time to go to Lake Abraham? Despite the fact that winter has engulfed Lake Abraham since late October, there won't be any frozen bubbles to witness until much later in the season. Don't schedule your trip too early because it all depends on Mother Nature and the weather she delivers. After you've put down the Christmas decorations, rung in the new year, and dusted off the glitter from your camera case, it's a good time to think about going. From the middle of January until the beginning of February, Lake Abraham is more likely to be entirely frozen, giving you the best chance of photographing frozen bubbles. Winter temperatures do change on a large scale, ranging from 5 degrees above zero to 30 degrees below zero, which impacts the ice formation process. Warm winds, or Chinooks as they are known in Canada, can also cause the surface ice to melt and become opaque. In Lake Abraham, there are a variety of places to stay. While you won't be spoiled for choice when it comes to 5-star hotels, there are some fantastic places to stay near Lake Abraham. Orem Lodge is without a doubt the best place to stay. Orem Lodge has beautiful views down onto Lake Abraham and is run by a man who probably knows more about ice bubbles than anyone. He's also photographed more frozen bubbles than anyone. If you don't mind the cold and have a nice telephoto lens on your camera, you might be able to snap an excellent photograph from your bedroom window. Because it's a popular destination, you'll need to book ahead of time to get a lodging while Lake Abraham is frozen over, but there are other options to explore. Even though Nordegg isn't quite Las Vegas, there are a few more people here than on the lake's coasts. If money isn't an issue, try the High Nordegg Hostel, which is only a 30-minute drive from Lake Abraham, open all year, and reasonably priced. Share a dorm with friends, have a picnic in the community kitchen, or ignite the grill and enjoy a lovely night out on the terrace with a few beers if a warm Chinook blows in. If you prefer your outdoor adventures to be more adventurous, stay at the High Rampart Creek. It's about an hour's drive from Lake Abraham, and there are no electric lights to read by at night, only the flickering flames of the fire pit. You'll be relieved to learn that the dorms are heated. If you stay there, you won't need to bring your snowshoes because they'll be provided for you. At Lake Abraham, here's where to get the best frozen bubble photos. Lake Abraham has a surface area of just about 60 square miles. That's a lot of lake, so knowing where the best areas to look for frozen bubbles in Lake Abraham is ahead of time will save you time. Preacher's Point is at the top of everyone's list. The H11 highway, which travels from Nordegg to this portion of the lake, runs right through it. If the weather cooperates, you'll be able to capture frozen bubbles without having to travel too far into the forest or leaving your vehicle, as there's a wonderful staging area where you can park. The lake waters at Klein Landing are shallow and hence easily freeze over, but it's also a location that's likely to be covered in snow, which doesn't make for great ice bubble photography settings. The best results are frequently found along the coast around the Belly of Abraham. Try the section between Hoodoo Creek and David Thompson Resort, as it has produced shots with exceptional clarity. Don't assume that simply because these are the ideal places to witness frozen bubbles, they'll be present. They aren't. The upper layers of ice can melt due to weather conditions, particularly mild Chinook breezes, leaving the surface hazy and difficult to see through. Bubbles are bubbles, and if they can find a way out, they'll find a way out. So be prepared to visit various locations surrounding Lake Abraham in order to identify the one that will hopefully yield the desired results. Photographing ice bubbles at Lake Abraham. Some tips. You don't need to be a professional photographer to get some interesting images of Lake Abraham's frozen bubbles, but you'll need more than a disposable or quick camera to make the trip worthwhile. You'll need to be prepared to cut out glare depending on the light conditions on the ice. Before you travel, consider investing in a polarizing filter. You'll kick yourself if you don't. If you're out on the ice and come across an incredible frozen bubble formation, you'll want to snap a close-up image to catch all of the exquisite details. Although not all cameras are capable of doing so, a macro lens attachment will almost certainly provide the desired outcome. Around Lake Abraham, there are some spectacular landscapes that are sure to pique your photographer's interest. Don't forget to bring a wide-angle lens if you want to obtain some great images of the ice with mountain backdrops. Photographing frozen bubbles on Lake Abraham. Safety tips. Before you visit Lake Abraham, keep in mind that it is located in the middle of nowhere. There are no convenience stores, gas stations, or nearby assistance if you require it. If you've never gone on an adventure in the wild outdoors before, you might want to take a map reading class before heading out to Lake Abraham. Because you won't be able to use your phone's GPS, knowing how to use this old-fashioned method of navigation will come in handy. Even better, if you're unfamiliar with the area, going with an expert guide who knows their way around is far safer. The ice conditions are always changing. A blanket of snow might hide dangerous regions when the ice isn't as thick as it appears or has a flaw in it. Before you go out on the ice, it needs to be at least 10 centimeters thick, and even then, there's no assurance it'll be safe. You'll need crampons fastened to your boots to walk on the ice. Make sure you have all of the necessary gear and apparel. This isn't your run-of-the-mill ski resort. It's a hard climate, and even when the sun shines, the wind chill factor can be catastrophic, with gusts strong enough to knock you down. So, be ready. It's not a good idea to go alone. For your own protection, go with friends or join one of the expert-led group trips. You won't just have to think about your own safety. You'll also have to think about the safety of your equipment. Be cautious if you've set your camera on a tripod because you can't get your hands to stop trembling long enough to snap a steady photo. It, too, can be blown away by the wind, and you might find yourself watching your camera skid over the ice, far out of reach and unrecoverable. The ice bubbles of Lake Abraham's secret. You could imagine a lake goddess with a digestive problem lurking somewhere in the depths of Lake Abraham, but it would be stretching anyone's imagination a little too far. The vegetation on the lake's bottom is being devoured by bacteria as part of its natural breakdown process. Those bacteria are responsible for the methane bubbles that freeze in the ice. So, remember what you're capturing when you're out there clicking away with your camera, and have fun. So that's it for today's video. If you enjoy this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell before you go. Thanks for watching.